Hello guys, it's Heather, and today I wanted to tell you guys how you can tell if someone you know or if you yourself are addicted to movies. Now, those of you who know me know that I am an extreme movie buff, and since I am a movie buff, I have picked up a few signs and just little habits that every extreme movie buff seems to have, so I've decided to share them with you, so that you can tell if you yourself are a movie buff or if you know someone who happens to be a movie buff, because, you know, that could be pretty important information to have, right? The first way to tell that someone is an extreme movie buff is if they have their own movie collection. Now, I'm not talking about a family movie collection where all of your family keeps all of your DVDs in the living room. No, I'm talking this person will have a movie collection of their own that they have bought or that people have given specifically to them that they usually keep in their room or somewhere that they frequently go all the time, because let's be honest, you have to have movies on hand if you're... My movie collection is pretty substantial. I'm not even really sure how many movies I have, but I know it's a lot. And here is my movie collection in all of its amazing glory. There are a ton of movies here, and they are in no particular order, and I will probably go over all of them, maybe for a different video. The second way to tell that someone is an extreme movie buff is if they are constantly quoting movies given the opportunity. So, for example, say you're at the supermarket and someone makes some snarky comment, this person will always reply with some kind of movie quote from some movie that they've seen over the years. And this person has an amazing memory for movie quotes because they're constantly spouting them off at any given opportunity. The third way to tell that someone is an extreme movie buff is if they get into arguments with fellow movie buffs about favorite characters. My friend and I in Utah would get into constant disputes over which movie characters were better. She claims that Hulk is the best superhero, which is utterly ridiculous, and Iron Man is 100% better for multiple reasons, which I could list, but that is for a different video some other time. Anyway, a movie buff will constantly be arguing with one friend who is a fellow movie buff about certain characters or how they're better than other characters and yada yada yada, etc, 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 whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that word apparently. The fourth way to tell that someone is a movie buff is pretty obvious. Movie buffs are constantly watching movies, so if you see someone who has some free time and is watching a movie or catching up on a TV show or has a greater watch list on Netflix than you've ever seen before in your life, that person is probably a movie buff. Normally, movie buffs will have a Netflix. Everybody can afford to go and watch in theaters and rent or buy every movie that they want to see, so they will compromise by getting an $8 a month Netflix or Hulu or some other type of movie watching website that will allow them to stream videos or movies to their computer or wherever they happen to be. The fifth way to tell that you're an extreme movie buff is if you're constantly relating the characters of a movie to a song or a book story. For example, if, say, you just watched The Lion King and then you hear a song on the radio that perfectly encompasses the relationship between, say, Mufasa and Scar. I don't know. But anyway, a movie buff will constantly be thinking about how their characters relate to other things in their life, even though these characters are more often than not fictional. So I'd say that we have a high tendency to have very non-fictional feelings about fictional characters. The sixth way to tell that you're an extreme movie buff is if you constantly find yourself attaching way too much worth to a movie character. For example, in Frozen, you find yourself getting way too emotional over the characters. Movie buffs have a tendency to become very, very emotionally attached to their characters. The way that you can tell if you yourself or one of your friends is a movie buff is if they tend to be a smidge overdramatic. Now, it's not entirely their fault because many, in fact most, movies are very dramatic in order to keep the audience hooked on what they're watching, and because movie buffs watch so many movies, this tends to rub off on them just a smidge, and they can be a little tiny bit overdramatic. So don't blame them. Blame the movies they're watching, and maybe suggest some that aren't as dramatic as these, and it'll help, I think. I don't know, I'm not a therapist, don't quote me on that. And that is not a very surefire way to tell if someone's a movie buff, because there are many, many, many people who are very overdramatic and are not movie buffs, so it kind of depends on the person, and you have to kind of weave that in with all the other tips and tricks and habits that movie buffs tend to have. The 8th and final way that you can tell if someone that you know or you yourself is a movie buff is that on your weekends, your favorite thing to do is to sit inside, pop a bowl of popcorn, curl up with a blanket, and have a movie marathon. Now, the length of the marathon kind of depends on the person. For me, I can literally have a movie marathon that lasts all day and have before. And some people just aren't able to do that, but that doesn't mean they're not a movie buff. I'm just saying that one way that you can tell that someone you know or that you yourself is a movie buff if you are constantly having movie marathons and you love them and you love to just sit with a heated blanket and a bowl of popcorn and just watch movies all day long because it's fantastic and you don't mind, and you may feel completely lazy that day, but you know what, to you it is very worth the feeling of guilt in order to get through this movie marathon, because in the end it's just a perfect way to spend your day relaxing with a bowl of popcorn and a heated blanket watching some movies. So those are 8 tips, tricks, and ways for you to discern whether you yourself or someone you know, one of your friends, colleagues, schoolmates, anyone is a movie buff. And I hope this helped you and was good information, and if you liked this video or agreed with anything I said, or if you yourself are a movie buff, click that like button and the subscribe button, because I make new videos every Storytelling Sunday, and most of my videos are about movies, so if you're a movie buff like me, just click it, it would make me feel better. And in the comment section, I would like you to tell me your favorite movie. And for those of you movie buffs out there who are shocked that I would ask such a question, because picking your favorite movie is like you're picking your favorite child, then you can just tell me what kind of movie, your favorite genre of movies, action and fantasy, horror, comedy, or any other that you can think of. So let me know in the comments below, and yeah, I'll be back next week. So, bye!